Hey there, fellow citizens of the internet. My name is Moses, and today I'm learning. I'm learning how to longboard. It may seem as though it's like my 90th time because I'm talented. But I assure you, it's literally my first time. And but today's video is literally all about how I forgot how to speak 4 different languages. Oh my goodness, I don't know. I'm trying to like pretend that there's no cops arresting people behind me because that's how many cares I give. Somebody's getting arrested for something. But I forgot how to speak 4 languages in a span of 10 years. Man. What they say about if you don't use it, you lose it, 1000% true. No, don't do it. Oh God. I should not be doing this. Should definitely not be doing this. Let me find a better spot. Long story short, I did not use those languages, so I forgot them. Like, hardcore. So, what are those languages? The first one is a dialect spoken in a small province in the country of Mozambique, and the province is called Maputo, and they speak, I think in parts of it, at least the majority of it speaks Mashangan, and Mashangan is the dialect spoken in that area. And that was the first language that I actually forgot how to speak. Now I still do speak a few words, like kanimambo, which basically means thank you. But it is the language that it's the language that I speak the least. Even though it is the language that I was most fluent in when I was growing up. This is harder than I thought. Cheapers. So the next language on the list is Swahili. Swahili, I speak it a little bit more than Mashangan for sure, because with Mashangan, like I said, I only remember a few words. I can understand probably maybe like 20% of Mashangan. With Swahili, I can form sentences. I can actually have a conversation. Not a decent one by any stretch of the imagination whatsoever. But I can say a few words like asante, which is like thank you, karibu, which is like welcome. And aside from that, I probably understand a lot more than I speak. And that's true with like every language really for me, I would say. But now, in my defense, I never fully learned how to speak Swahili. Like, I never became like fully fluent. But needless to say, I probably forgotten 90% of what I used to know. And the language after that is Kinyarwanda, which ideally would be my native language, which is another thing that I need to admit. Unashamedly, so if that's even a word, I don't really know what my first language is. I am more inclined to say Kinyarwanda or Swahili just because that's the native language of my parents. But I don't know. I don't really remember what was the first language that I spoke. I just grew up speaking. Playing around with other kids that spoke all kinds of different languages, and if you wanted to be part of the fun, you had to learn the languages. So, yeah, man, I'm liking this whole skateboarding thing. But yeah, Swahili is one of those languages that I learned for a brief moment, and then I completely forgotten about it. Up next is Kinyarwanda. Now Kinyarwanda is I think I already mentioned it, but Kinyarwanda is the native language of my parents, and that's where they're from, and that's actually where I was born, Rwanda. Oh, that's kind of steep. Get off. I don't know how to get off. Oh, we're gonna have to ride through. Oh, double check the answer session. Oh. I would say that out of the 4 that I've forgotten, Kinyarwanda is the one that I speak the most. Well, actually, no. The next one is. But with Kinyarwanda, I still speak more than just a few sentences. You know, I can have a conversation, a very broken conversation that is, but a conversation nonetheless. So I can safely say that if I went to Rwanda, I would be able to get around just fine. But if I went to a Swahili-speaking country, it would take me a couple of months to get what I once knew back. And it would certainly take, I would say, at least 6 months just to be fluent again. Now, the 4th language I have not fully forgotten yet, and that is Portuguese. I spoke Portuguese for, at the very minimum, 10 years. But I would say that I'm actually starting to forget it. Yeah, and just, that's because, again, I don't get to actually use the language on a daily basis. So you don't use it, you end up actually losing it. It's very true. Woo. Now, because my primary and part of my secondary education was in Portuguese, that is why I'm still mostly fluent in Portuguese. But it's pretty much gone. I went to Brazil 3 years ago, and I could not. No. So, but with Portuguese, I am still conversational. Not as a broken conversation as Kinyarwanda is, but a conversation that's coherent. I can actually read it relatively well. I can have deep conversations. I can have philosophical conversations with it. But it's still not. I can totally feel myself drifting away anytime soon, really. Just because, like, the grammatical structure is starting to fade away. I'm starting to speak it the same way that I speak English in it. So yeah, it's kind of sad. 4 languages just gone. But that was kind of fast. This is kind of fast. Most people make videos about how I learned 2 extra languages, how I learned how to speak Spanish in like 5 days. And here I am making a video about how I forgot 4 languages. This is bad. It's definitely not a popularity contest. It's definitely not something to say if you want to be popular or anything like that. It's definitely an unpopular opinion. Definitely putting myself out there for the judgment. But it's my life. It's the reality. Oh, I can't make this turn. I can't. So a quick summary to the video. I was just learning how to skateboard. Not skateboard, longboard. And I just decided to say, hey, look. And I just decided to make a video on how I forgot to speak 4 different languages. Technically 3, but I am sliding off at the 4th one very rapidly. The thing is, to learn any language, it's not as hard as we think. All you gotta do, I think, someone wiser than I said that all you gotta do is learn about 800 words, and that's it. So make the effort to learn new languages, or even just a couple words in any given language, and you will be fine. Anyways, my name is Moses. Thank you for watching and hearing my story a little bit. So hopefully you can go out there and learn a couple languages or a couple words in a language, and you will be just fine.